Hi, this is Maggie. I wanted to talk about the solar eclipses and lunar. We have so many coming up in 2020. Very excited about them. Actually, though, we have one the day after Christmas. So in 2019, on the 26th, December 26th, we'll have annual solar eclipse at 4 degrees Capricorn. So there will be the Cancer-Capricorn axis, which has been ongoing with all the transiting planets already in Capricorn that, naturally would oppose Cancer. So if you have anything in Cancer, it's the house of the home. It would, so basically it's home versus like how you're seen in the world. It's not always career in Capricorn. It could be how the world perceives you. So I've already talked in depth about all the transits in Capricorn, but because the North Node just moved from Leo into Cancer, yeah, that will definitely affect this eclipse. 4 degrees Capricorn. So yeah, so if you have planets in Capricorn and if you have planets in Cancer, they're in opposition anyway. And when there's an eclipse, especially a solar eclipse, the effects will last for about 6 months. So it will accent wherever the eclipse falls, whatever house it falls in. Like for me, I have the natural wheel, the natural Aries original wheel. So Cancer, it would be in the 4th house. I have the moon in Cancer, so it would, the North Node. I don't know how that's going to play out, the North Node in Cancer, but certainly it'll affect the home, family, and it's going to be there for a while. And with the eclipses activating it, if you do have planets there, and if you have planets in Capricorn, certainly, or squaring, the angles, Libra is an angle, Aries, and, the cardinal angles. These are the cardinal angles. Actually, this opposition is huge. It's huge. This annual solar eclipse, the day after Christmas, December 26, 4 degrees Capricorn, will be in direct opposition to Cancer and also the North Node, and if you have any planets. So basically, it's kind of like how you're seen in the world or your career, or there could be also, there's usually events, usually almost always an event, either immediately or within this 6 months of the eclipse. And because it is in Capricorn, 4 degrees, it would probably have to do with authority, public figures, structures. It's in cardinal Earth, earthquakes, fall from power, which would, Pluto and Saturn have been transiting Capricorn. Saturn's the ruler of Capricorn. So there will be some major events going on, definitely, with structures and authority and maybe world leaders, versus the home. It's like versus what's going on in the home. So whatever house you have Capricorn in is where the eclipse it'll color. I like to use the term color. It will color how the eclipse, which area of your life the eclipse will affect, because not everyone has the natural wheel. So, for example, I was just using the 4th house because that is the opposition. It is Cancer, and it is ruled by the moon. So, So, and there will be a prenumbral lunar eclipse 2020, January 10th, coming up. And that will be in 20 degrees Cancer. So, and because the North Node, just went into Cancer. So, this axis is really going to be in view. It's just in target range. And it's going to be massive changes. Again, this is general because I don't know what house you have. If you want to know what house your eclipse falls in, you can always ask me. But um, so I'm just using the natural Aries wheel. But yeah, so the lunar eclipse is going to be in Cancer too, January 10th. And starting out with the solar eclipse, we'll still be feeling that for like 6 months in Capricorn. So it's on with and it has been on with Capricorn. And they've always opposed, of course, Cancer. We all have our opposition. So it's kind of like yeah, there's just going to be stuff going down, and there has been ongoing, but it's going to be more accented. um, yeah yeah, astrologers, I actually had a complaint. Astrologers, really shouldn't be biased because, there are so many fragments, in polarizing fragments in politics. And so, um, yeah, there are some very, very liberal, I try not to, but every once in a while something slips out, and I did get a complaint about that. So I really get that. I get that. I believe it was over gun control or something, but there are so many political issues coming up and will be coming up. And some astrologers have, talked about potentially maybe an assassination or, um, but I'll talk more on that. I think that probably that's going to be when Jupiter, is conjunct Saturn and I think it's Pluto. Yeah. So anyway, I'll get into that later. But yeah, I don't really do predictive, so I like to just color the energies, what house you have it in, what area of life potentially. But eclipses do signify events, definitely. So we'll be caught up in the solar eclipse anyway in Capricorn. And then along comes the lunar eclipse in January, right after December 26th. So it will it will really, just people are just falling from office like flies. It's just, yeah, I think that's what's going on. Yeah, so yeah. Anyway, if you have planets or you want to know, where your eclipse falls, say if you had it in the second house, it would affect your assets. Third house, your communication, maybe your cousins, siblings, short distance travel. Fourth house, of course, ruled by the moon, the family, your house. You could change residences or something could, there's a lot of displaced people right now that are affected by their homes, from the fires and everything. Earthquakes potentially could displace people because it is Earth, Capricorn. Fifth house would be ruled by Leo, so it would be, Leo's ruled by the heart. Your self-expression, your children, your your children, could conceive, could have a child. Yeah, fixes Leo, so that would color it Leo if you had it, in the fifth house. And Leo is very self-expressive, and it's very very generous and giving. It likes to be seen. It likes to shine. So if you want the focus might just be on your career, putting yourself out there and individualizing yourself with Leo, definitely. And that was the accent with the eclipses last year, and that's when the North Node as well was in Leo. So it was all about really, all the eclipses were really trying to bring that point home, I believe, about individualizing your self-expression. But now that it's in Cancer, we'll see how that plays out. It should be very interesting, and especially after all these eclipses. So it's interesting, too. A thought just occurred to me that, in the U.S., I just said I'm not going to be partisan, and I'm not, but in the U.S., the family just happens to be all up in the government. There is a lot of nepotism in our White House. So the eclipse could be, of course, everyone's under investigation now. So, that could really go down. I mean, it's going down now, but I mean, it'll that could potentially be an event that happens, and that's just a fact that because I have done Donald Trump's chart, and his family does line the cabinet, and, so that would be the Cancer, and of course the Capricorn would be his government, the presidency in the White House or whatever, authority figure. It could also be like a father or authority figure, or how you're seen in public. Anyway, I was kind of going around the wheel. 5th house, Leo. 6th house, Virgo, would be the focus would be on health, your health, and health. It's like Earth sign, health and work, So the focus might be on changing your career, or something could happen with your health or work. So you want to pay attention to those, or maybe if you wanted to make a change, or a change could happen with the eclipses. Something could happen in the 6th house. 7th house, personal relationships. Yeah, it's ruled by Libra. So if you have the eclipses going on in your 7th house, it will affect your personal relationships in some way. And how, I don't know. If you have Pluto there, of course it would be an ending, but that would be like, you could have a chart comparison done to find that out. So 8th house would be Scorpio. Scorpio's transformations, joint assets. So watch your joint assets. Just keep an eye on them. And it could be transformation, sometimes endings, because it's ruled by Pluto and Mars. So if the eclipses happen in the 8th house, and the 9th house would be, that's Sagittarius's house. And if they happen there, because there's some jolly planets there right now, Jupiter helps. Jupiter return is going to be there all year. And the sun is there, Venus and Mercury. So, if it happens in the 9th house, or in Sagittarius, I don't think anything's going to really hurt Sagittarius, because they're happy now. They're on the other side. So, yeah, 9th house. Anyway, the thing Sagittarius rules, rather, are law, teaching, higher values, philosophy, religion. And of course it could affect Sagittarius. We have all kinds of cultural clashes going on with different, cultures, religions, fighting wars over ideas, higher ideals, which to them are the one and true only ideals. So, you could also start a new career, going back to law school or teaching, or some kind of multicultural event could happen. So definitely, yeah, that's the 9th house. So it's not, yeah, I mean, everything's being played out internationally anyway, and Sagittarius rules international affairs. It's ruled by Jupiter. So, yeah, maybe there'll be some wisdom and insight that will come out of all these events going on. So 10th house is Capricorn, and it's going down in Capricorn. It's been going down in Capricorn. Yeah, so it will especially affect Capricorn and Cancer, because they're right on that cardinal axis. In Cancer, the North Node, if you have any planets in Cancer. And Capricorn, right now their ruler is there, Saturn is there. So, yeah, it should be very interesting for Capricorns. And I kind of already started with Capricorn, how that would affect them. So to jump to the 11th house, Aquarius, if you have the solar eclipse in Aquarius, it's a house of, hopes, wishes, friendships, humanitarian groups. All kinds of new groups could form, new ideas. New agey kind of stuff. But I see, a lot of maybe a lot of humanitarian groups forming to help with all this they're really cutting a lot of the world charities, that rescue missions that are like trying to get people out of Yemen, for example. And a lot of the refugees, they're just shutting a lot of the walls, shutting a lot of like Italy has shut the has been putting up walls. So I think of Aquarius as like, the humanitarian, they're like Doctors Without Borders. So anyway, there was this ship out in the sea, I forget the name of it, but it's called the Aquarian. It's called the Aquarian. And so it was saving the lives of people, drowning at sea, trying to escape. I think it was Yemen or somewhere. And so anyway, they have to stop doing it. I think Italy asked them to stop. So now there's no one out there to rescue. So that's just an example I threw out there for the 11th house, that maybe more groups could somehow be formed to help humanity. That's what Aquarius does. Or there are more astrologers, more people would be really into studying that science. That brings us to the 12th house, Pisces. So if the eclipse is happening in the 12th house, Pisces, already we have Neptune there. Chiron has been transiting there. So people have been very, very sensitive and emotional. I certainly have. It is in my 12th house, Pisces is. So have been feeling the Chiron. Definitely been feeling the Neptune. And when the eclipses hit, so Pisces, how it will affect you, your imagination, whatever you're creating with your imagination, because that's where everything begins. Everything begins in Neptune. So whether you put it into poetry, music, I would advise everyone, though, with I've been meaning to advise anyone with, especially with Mars. Mars is currently in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, and Chiron, to just beware of overdose. Just really beware of that, because you're especially more sensitive than ever to chemicals right now, and to accidentally overdose, that could, the Mars could act as a malefic in that case. Neptune could, it's just kind of a dangerous combination. So just be really careful, be careful with that, because you want to live, certainly, but also it would fire up your imagination, Pisces, just to be, and your unconscious and your psychic ability, and you may see visions and dreams and be able to put them into reality, and once Mars goes into Aries, that's when the action will happen. That'll be good. That'll be good when it goes into Aries, because it's kind of drowning in the waters of Pisces. But just beware of drowning or overdose. Those kinds of things can happen because Mars can be a malefic. It can be a malefic, and so with Mars, Neptune, Chiron, and if you have any other planets in that doesn't mean it's going to present badly, but that's just a little warning I would throw out there. So I'm looking on Cafe Astrology, has a list of every eclipse you could possibly ever want to look at throughout centuries. And so I'm looking at 2020, and we're going to have quite a few. And so there will be one prenumbral lunar eclipse on June 5th, 2020 in Sagittarius, 15 degrees. So I'll go more into that later when we get closer to June. And there will be a solar eclipse, annual solar eclipse, June 21st, June 21st, 0 degrees Cancer. So again, that's going to be on the angle, firing up that ongoing Capricorn. It's like almost like a confrontation, has been going on, Cancer, Capricorn, and we've all been feeling it. And the U.S. is a Cancer country. I don't know what other Cancer countries are out there, but the U.S. is definitely Cancer. So, we've been feeling this polarization, and that's why somebody called me out on that, because, yeah, I get that. We need to be objective, Try to be objective. There is one astrologer, he's really left-wing, from Santa Cruz, of course, so everyone's super, super liberal there. And yeah, some people get offended, so, I'll try to be tread cautiously. Yeah. But he gave a very fine argument in one of his comments to, about that. But anyway, so the annual solar eclipse, June 21st, 2020, is 0 degrees Capricorn. And again, that's that ongoing power struggle we've had, not only in the U.S., but throughout the world, however that's going to play out. And there will be a prenumbral lunar eclipse, July 5th, the day after the 4th of July, on 2020, 13 degrees Capricorn. So it's just on Capricorn Cancer axis, ongoing. And of course, Pluto is still transiting Capricorn. So I'll keep you guys posted. And yeah, I really like this site, Cafe Astrology. It has eclipse dates from the 1900s to 2050, if you want to look them up. Yeah, so if you like these videos, please like, subscribe, and share. And thank you so much for subscribing. All right, take care, and Merry Christmas.